Hey everyone, in this video we're going to take a look at this 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. The Santa Cruz is an all-new product for Hyundai. It's kind of a big deal for the company. It's the first time they've sold a vehicle with a bed, at least in the United States. The Santa Cruz rides on the same platform as Hyundai's compact SUV, the Tucson, which was redesigned for 2022. So this is a unibody pickup, kind of like the Honda Ridgeline. Although one thing that should be pointed out, this is a compact pickup, whereas the Ridgeline is a mid-size truck. So the Ridgeline competes with mid-size pickups like the Toyota Tacoma, the Nissan Frontier, the Ford Ranger, the Chevrolet Colorado, GMC Canyon, Jeep Gladiator, whereas the Santa Cruz here really only has one competitor, and that's the Ford Maverick, which is also built on a compact SUV platform. So this is pretty interesting, honestly. The Santa Cruz has a smaller bed than what you'll find in mid-size trucks. That's seeming to be a trait of this new compact segment. The bed in the Santa Cruz is about 4 feet long. It's still pretty functional. And then as for the interior, it's a compact crossover interior, so it's comfortable. It's pretty nicely finished. It's not as rough and truck-like as what you'll find throughout the mid-size segment. So let's do a tour of the new Santa Cruz inside and out, and then take it for a quick ride around the block. So given that it rides on a crossover platform, the Santa Cruz certainly has crossover-esque design language. Up here you'll find Hyundai's rather avant-garde new crossover grille design. The headlights are here and here, and then there's more lighting down here. So this is a headlight, whereas everything in here, oh, that's a light too actually, and then there's a light. So rather, this is chrome, and then everything kind of in the middle here is chrome. So it's pretty much a big rectangle that's chrome, whereas the lighting is in here, although this is also a chrome piece. So really unique lighting setup there. 20-inch wheels. This is a fully loaded limited model. Costs about $41,000. There's some little Santa Cruz Easter eggs in there. Plastic fender flares, because I guess they want this to feel at least a little bit rugged. Moving around the back, the C-pillar here is kind of unique, and I'm going to call it a C-pillar because this is essentially an SUV with the rear cargo area lopped off and an open bed put in its place. Around back, the tailgate is kind of unique as well because the lights come into the middle here. You don't often see that on a pickup, but then again, the Santa Cruz isn't really a traditional pickup. The tailgate is stamped though. That's a very pickup style design element. So it says Santa Cruz. There's a Hyundai word mark there in the handle, and then H-Track, that's Hyundai's branding for its all-wheel drive system, and then 2.5T, meaning 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. That's the more powerful of two available engines for the Santa Cruz, makes 275 horsepower. Anyway, as for the cargo area, the Santa Cruz can tow up to 5,000 pounds, although this one does not come equipped with a hitch. Payload comes in at 1,400 pounds, which is pretty impressive, although let's check real quick. The combined weight of occupants and cargo should never exceed 1,411 pounds. So yeah, that's a roughly 450 pound advantage over the Toyota Tacoma. So Santa Cruz certainly has a leg up when it comes to available payload. As for the bed itself, so it's an electronic release. That's a very crossover-like choice. And then once we're in the bed, it's a composite bed. So just like the Honda Ridgeline, these panels are pretty much, you could call it plastic. So there's the floor, the sides, the back, those are all plastic. Lots of different tie-down points. So there are 4 different D-rings and then 2 cleats. There's also this rail system. So these are there's one on either side. These are 2 adjustable tie-down points. They lock into place. So you pull on this little thing and they slide and they lock into place, so you can adjust where they are. There's only 2 of them though, not super functional. This is a feature that's offered in a lot of different trucks, but in the Santa Cruz here, I don't know, it seems like it might be overkill. There's an LED light in either side of the bed too, and then there are storage compartments. We'll take a look at this one because this one includes a 115 volt AC inverter. So that's your basic 3-prong home style outlet. So you can plug things in like, I don't know, a charger or even a portable refrigerator. The most interesting thing about the bed is this hard tonneau cover. It is removable, so it's held in by 1, 2, 3 bolts per side, so 6 10mm hex bolts, and you can get this thing out of here, which is what you need to do if you want to haul more than one mountain bike in the bed. I'll have a video showing how you haul a mountain bike with the tonneau cover in place. But basically, if you want to leave the tonneau cover in place, you can only haul one mountain bike over the tailgate, and it has to be done at an angle. But if you're willing to remove the hard tonneau cover, you can fit as many as 4 in here in the traditional way, where they're lined up parallel with the vehicle. Anyway, the tonneau cover itself, they have this little strap here that makes it easy to pull it back. So locks in place pretty nicely. And then with the tailgate up, I mean, it kind of turns this into a sedan almost, because it gives you what amounts to a more traditional trunk back here. You can lock it in place halfway, kind of. There you go. So you can lock it in place partially open if you wanted to haul something like a sheet of plywood back here. And then to fully open it, you just push it back. It does take up a fair amount of space, and that's what I was getting at when I was talking about hauling mountain bikes over the tailgate. This takes up a fair amount of space right here. So here's it's kind of a square piece like that houses the roll-up tonneau cover, and then the cover itself still sticks out about, I don't know, 4 to 6 inches right there. So you lose 10 to 12 inches of bed real estate there with this cover in place. And the cover is standard on the top 2 trims. There are 4 trims for the Santa Cruz. The base model does not come with the cover. On the second trim, it's optional as part of like a $3,500 adventure package. And then it comes standard on the top 2 trims. You can't buy it as a standalone option, at least not right now. One more thing to cover with the bed here, just like on the Honda Ridgeline, there is a trunk built into the bed, because keep in mind, the Santa Cruz at its core is a crossover. So it's an electronic release. Once again, it's kind of awkward. You have to get it up about 1/4 of the way before the struts actually support it. But the storage area here is a little bit shallower than it is on the Ridgeline, but you could still haul, if you were mountain biking, you could still haul your helmets and maybe your backpack, or 2 people's helmets and 2 backpacks, or any variety of things. If you're a climber, you could fit ropes and a backpack and a helmet in here. So it's kind of nice to have storage space that is secure in a pickup that doesn't require you to haul everything in the cab or the passenger area. Oh, they also talk about how, it's got a drain plug so you can use it as a cooler. I think that's kind of dumb, because this isn't insulated. So all your ice is going to melt just as quickly as it would if you were holding it in a bucket. So unless you want to develop your own insulation system for this, yeah, I would not be trying to use this as a cooler. I would just use a regular cooler. So I don't have a window sticker for this one. Kind of strange, but I can tell you the basics. So as equipped, this one comes in at around $41,000, and it is fully loaded. That does undercut the mid-size segment by a fair amount, but keep in mind, crossover based and compact truck. So kind of not really an apples to apples comparison with the mid-size segment, although the Santa Cruz is priced pretty much in line with the Ford Maverick, which is really its only competitor on the market as of right now. Fuel economy is okay. It comes in at about 23 mpg combined when you have this turbocharged engine paired with all-wheel drive. Infotainment system's pretty nice. The interior overall is shared with the new Tucson, so everything you see here is identical to the Tucson. One area where it differs, though, is in the shifter. The Tucson gets Hyundai's push-button shifter setup. I guess they wanted the Santa Cruz to feel rugged, or at least they wanted people to think it's more rugged. I don't know, but it gets a traditional shift lever instead of the push button setup. I'd rather have the push button setup because it's simpler and more out of the way, but anyway, to each their own. USB-A, that's kind of disappointing given that Hyundai has such modern technology throughout this interior, but they don't have modern USB-C technology, although there are a lot of ports. 1, 2, nothing in the center box, but there are 2 more in the rear, which we'll take a look at in a minute. The infotainment system is pretty nice. Same with the digital gauge cluster. These screens are functional. It's a screen-heavy interior, but it's not over the top with it. Overall, the screens seem purposeful and not overly gimmicky. There's a sunroof overhead, just a normal size sunroof, actually kind of small. Not too much else to show off up here. Overall, the interior here is pretty nice, just like it is in most modern Hyundais. Let's take a look at the back seat. So underneath the seat bottom here, there is a storage compartment. It's actually pretty big. Over on that side, there's also a storage compartment, although it's also where the spare tire jack lives. So you lose most storage area over there. Oh, one more thing. Spare tire does live underneath on the Santa Cruz, unlike on the Ridgeline where it lives inside of the bed trunk. So not much to see back here. The back seat is kind of upright, although that doesn't feel particularly uncomfortable. Your sight lines are a little bit strange back here. Your head kind of sits against the panel there. So the windows are a little bit small, and that's part of that uniquely designed C-pillar. Over on the door panel, there's a little cubby here. There's a cup holder handle. The windows are not one touch up and down. That's disappointing. Looks like only the front two windows are one touch. That's a bummer. Air vents on the back of the center console. Like I said, 2 USB-A ports. And then, so there's a headrest, but there's no center armrest. So that's, I imagine, an example of cost cutting. Light overhead, grab handles, a little hook, and then netting on the backs of both of the front seats, and that's about it for the back seat. Okay, driving the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Spoiler alert, it drives just like a crossover. So the interior is pretty nice. That's kind of the first thing I'm noticing here. This digital gauge cluster, it's really simple, really basic. It's just a rectangular screen, but it works, it's functional, and like I said, it doesn't feel over the top, doesn't feel like they're trying too hard. There's 50 miles per hour, so it's a compact SUV slash truck hybrid thing, so it's not fast, but it is quick enough, especially with this 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, makes 275 horsepower. That's about as much as you could ask for out of a vehicle like this. One thing I don't love is this 8-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. It chatters when you take off from a dead stop. Like right, okay, there we go. It chattered until I started talking there. So there's about a 1.5 second period where the clutches are engaging and the vehicle isn't moving forward like you would expect it to be. It's just a little, and then it goes. I've noticed it in every Hyundai and Kia product that I've driven that has this dual clutch automatic. It's fine otherwise, but taking off from a dead stop, you'd think they would have worked that out by now. Wasn't too bad that time, but I kind of rolled through that stop sign. As far as visibility goes, those funky C-pillars eat up a fair amount of your over-the-shoulder visibility, but luckily we've got blind spot monitoring, so it's not as important to be able to see when you look over your shoulder, but still not as good as it would be in a traditionally shaped truck. Big speed bump here, doing about 30. Felt fine. I think one of the selling points of the Santa Cruz is you're not so much buying a truck as you are a crossover with an open bed. So the interior and everything, just like it is in the Honda Ridgeline, the interior here is nicer than it's going to be in a traditional truck. Backup camera is really nice, just like it is in every other Hyundai and Kia product. I can see individual leaves on my driveway. So there's your look at the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. I think things are getting pretty interesting in the truck world. The way I look at it, as sedans have at this point become very difficult to justify because other types of vehicles just offer so much more functionality. You look at a hatchback or a wagon, you get more cargo room. You look at an SUV and you get more cargo room in a higher driving position and generally all-wheel drive, or at least this belief that it's more capable off-road. Then with the Santa Cruz here, you add in an open and functional and durable cargo area, and you've got a crossover with all-wheel drive in a taller driving position and you get the benefits of a pickup, or at least a small pickup, with this open bed. So whereas you wouldn't haul brush or leaves or mulch in the back of a crossover SUV, you can do that with the Santa Cruz while also getting all the benefits of a crossover, meaning this nice interior, decent fuel economy, more car-like driving dynamics. Those are things that you aren't going to get out of, say, a Ranger or a Tacoma. So overall, the Santa Cruz won't make sense for most traditional truck buyers. I think a lot of people that want a truck, they want real off-road capability, and they want just an overall more rugged feeling vehicle. The Santa Cruz isn't really going to check those boxes, but for people who think they might want a truck but are on the fence about taking a hit with regard to day-to-day livability and fuel economy, the Santa Cruz is definitely going to be appealing. I think it will take people who might have otherwise bought an SUV, a small SUV, and get them to buy a truck. And I think that wraps up the Santa Cruz. Thank you for watching.